All right, so we have another guest that's going to be joining us who's been waiting backstage so patiently.
We do.
Thank you. They are a band called Silent Vice, and they are brand new to this podcast. They're a first-time guest, so we thought the best way to introduce is with a video. There we have it, Silent Vice.
Ooh, let's get them on. We got to start talking. Let's go.
Let's bring Doug in, shall we?
Yeah. Hi.
What's up, everyone?
Doug.
Nice to close the camera there.
Thank you so much for being patient with us. And
That's all right.
First of all, I would like to apologize publicly for our screw up. When we made the initial post for this podcast, we had the wrong graphic. The man who is the guilty party is raising his hand for the incorrect graphic.
Matt does a lot for us here. He does a shit ton for us, and he might have made a little tiny
graphics at like 3 o'clock in the morning my time.
Yeah. So sorry. We corrected it though, so I'm so sorry. Anyway, but go ahead, Jared. You're up.
No, yeah. So Doug, this is obviously our first time talking, but I'll give you a little backstory as to how we kind of came across your music. I don't remember if it was on the trip that I'm about to describe or if it was slightly before that, but somehow Spotify kicked, the algorithm, it kicked y'all over to me. I'm listening to a bunch of stuff, I'm liking stuff, and then one of y'all's songs come on and I hear it and I go, holy shit, this sounds familiar and new at the same time, which I love. Okay. I'm going to get into who I heard, like the band that like really who I think you sounded like. Don't say it if somebody always says a band, don't say it. But I got you on my playlist. I go take a trip down to South Louisiana. Two of my buddies that are big into music. One of them's my guitar player. I'm playing y'all songs. They're digging it. Played a bunch of different bands, but I threw y'all's in there. Everybody's digging it. A day later, my guitar player who was in the truck listening to it, his son, who was also our guitar player now, that's how old I am, he texted me a link to your song. He's in the chat right now, Dylan. I thought his dad told him what we listened to, and then he was sending it back to me. So we had this awkward conversation where nobody realizes that didn't happen. He just stumbled upon y'all as well, and it took us like a bunch of back and forth to figure that out. So anyway, the algorithm's doing something. Your music's getting out there, and I love it. It's like I said, it's familiar and new at the same time. The band that I hear that I just heard when that was playing. Do you have a band in your head right now? Because you're shaking your head like maybe you do.
There's one that we always say. Yeah.
Okay. Is it Drowning Pool?
No, actually, it's not. But that's the most recent one we've been hearing a lot. The one I say we hear the most is the Deftones.
A little bit.
With the guitar. Okay, with the guitar and the drums, definitely. Yeah. I hear Deftones.
Your singer's voice sounds like the first Drowning Pool singer in a good way, not a ripoff. When he hits those those little screams that he does, like he's getting after it, I hear the same from the first Drowning Pool record, and I love it. It's awesome. That's why I like familiar and new at the same time. So that's my spiel. And I think I sent y'all a message on some platform. I'm like, God, we got to get these guys going. And Matt took over, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I think you initially reached out to them. I think you sent them to me and was like, dude, what do you think of this band? And I was like, yeah, they're good, man. So Doug, for those that don't know, I don't know much about Silent Vice. I haven't done a deep dive because I knew you were coming on.
Right.
So tell us everything about Silent Vice, how you started, what's the process? What's Silent Vice about?
And not only that, but your part in the band.
Right.
Let's talk about that as well.
So first off, thanks for having me. I didn't get to say
You're
that.
welcome.
Pretty stoked to be here. I like what you guys are doing. I also wanted to say, talking a lot about Kingdom Collapse, we played a show with them in San Diego a few years back, believe it or not.
Stop it.
So the world is small. Yeah. So our band history is we've actually been a band for a really long time. So all of us are in our early 30s, but we started playing before we had driver's licenses. So
nice.
We were 14, 15 years old. So except our bass player, he's newer. And he's a little bit older than us. We call him Gramps, but he's
be nice.
He's
be
newer,
nice,
but the three.
I know. I'm afraid of what he's gonna start calling me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I guess in our minds we like to still think we're pretty young, but I guess we are. But anyways, it doesn't matter.
I
So
told
we've
you
been
my
playing.
guitar player's son is in our band now, so just understand that.
Yeah. So we've been a band for 15 or 16 years. We're based in San Diego, and up till the last few years ago, I mean, we just been doing our thing, making music. We've been influenced by that era of music, right? The Drowning Pool, the early 2000s, late 90s, that stuff. And, so that's what we were always writing. It wasn't until a few years ago where we sort of figured out how to make this TikTok and Instagram thing work. And it's crazy to me because all we did was post videos of us playing the song with some dumb caption. It's like, hey, check out our song. And people did. So, that's pretty much it. The three of us have been in the band for a really long time. Bass player's new. And we've just been trying to write music and just doing our thing here in San Diego. So now we're trying to build out regionally. We got some, like you mentioned, Jared, it's getting out there. The music is. So now we're thinking, okay, maybe we should go play around a little bit. So we're starting to expand regionally and play some shows. We're trying to play in Arizona and LA and all that. So, but that's pretty much it, man. I mean, it's just, we're just a bunch of normal dudes just playing our music and having a good time. And yeah, it's going good.
That's great. I mean, what a wild world that we live in now, where you're like, okay, we figured out this TikTok thing. Like the music probably didn't change a whole lot, right? But you just figured out the attention aspect of how to get it. And then now, like, you're talking to some people that, Matt's in the UK, Lisa's on the East Coast, I'm over here on the Gulf Coast, and it's like, here we are. It's the world we live in.
No, it's crazy. And it's also been a really wild ride too, because everything we do, we're completely independent, self-produced, self-mixed. The only thing we don't do is master our songs. That's because you need a room of gear to do it. But we do everything ourselves and always have. So over the course of 15 years, it's like, you're right, the music hasn't changed dramatically, but I think it's been refined. It's definitely gotten better. But then you tack on like the recording techniques and skills and just in general, like all the gear and everything. And over 15 years now, we're kind of at a point where we can just do everything ourselves.
Yeah. So who's the producer guy? Who's the tech? Who's the Pro Tools or DAW guy?
It's the drummer, Alex.
Oh, okay. All right. The drummer.
Yeah,
okay.
Going against the grain with the drummer with the brains there. But
right. If you said bass player, I wouldn't have believed you. But no, drummer, I was gonna bet you. It's usually the guitar player.
No, it's not me. No. No, my role, I do a lot of the songwriting. I mean, we all could participate with the songwriting for sure, but as the guitar player, it's riffs a lot of the time, right? So, it's come up with a riff. Alex will throw some drums down, get some bass in there, and Kevin adds his vocals on later. But no, yeah, Alex is the techie one. He's the one who's figured it out, did a Pro Tools class. He did like an internship with, God, I wish I knew his name. I could shout him out. But, it's just been learning it. So now it's kind of cool because we've got all these, we've kind of, all the pieces have come together at this point where we can kind of do everything ourselves. And we're like, wow, this is good.
It's what you need to do as a band. If it's, we had someone back on the podcast back along who said, like, if you don't know how to do it, you either got to learn to do it or pay someone to do it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, not a lot of bands can self-produce. I find more often than not, it sort of ends in disaster. So why do you think that your band is doing it successfully?
Well, I definitely think you're right. There's like some element of groupthink that happens when you get, you're just always self-producing. But on the other hand, what's interesting for us is, we've like, I guess I could just say, we're always just trying to rip off our favorite bands, right? So we see ideas that other bands are doing, and we were like, oh, that's pretty cool. We could implement something like that. So by no means are we great producers or anything, but when you look at our songs, it's just not four to the floor, but it's very bare bones, right? It's guitar, bass, drums, vocals. And
can I ask you, are y'all, as the self-produced guys, are y'all, when I hear your music, like I said, like it's familiar and new at the same time, but it also sounds like a real band to me. And I
Right.
think that is something that's changing in music that's coming out. It's so polished and so produced and so like perfect that there are just times that I listen to a song, I'm like, man, I really like this song. It's fucking awesome. But something, right?
It's
With
overproduced.
your
Yeah.
exactly. That's
Right.
exactly what it is. And it's very hard to say that, but sometimes that's the feeling. And with your guy, when I hear your shit, it sounds like you were joking earlier, you know, you're in your early 30s. I might be in my 40s, who knows? But like I remember when music sounded like a band, even though it was polished and produced and Pro Tools was the thing. I get it, but it still sounded like music. I hear that in y'all's stuff. So like, are y'all still mic and drums like a bunch of grandpas? Or are you doing
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I
Yeah,
can hear it.
so-
Like we can
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's funny is we're actually starting to notice that that's actually playing into what's I think helping us get noticed a little bit. And like when you look through all the comments on our stuff, it's always like, finally a real band that sounds like from the early 2000s, you know. And I'm not bagging on that stuff that's overproduced and hyped right now. Like I'm wearing a Spirit Box hat. Like I love Spirit Box. They're like that, right? You know, super polished and all that. I'm all about it. I love Thornhill. I don't know if you guys are listening to them. Their new albums. Like these bands are killing it, and I love that. But the reality is, in order to do that, you have to have the whole in-ear rig with the computer that works. I mean, I could barely get on this podcast, you know, without my computer.
Right.
You know, he was messaging saying he was having tech issues.
Yeah.
dude.
So how am I supposed to run a whole live show? You know,
Right.
like, there's no way that's happening for us. So,
It's like-
You just nailed it though, man. Like, okay, again, the guy over here, like in his 40s, who's like, we play like 3 shows a year. We have that same exact discussion. It's like everybody's on these in-ear rigs now. No one's got amps on the stage anymore. We totally understand the upside of it. I get it, but we're like, it's like we just want to plug in and like play. But
yeah.
so I love it. I love to hear you say that.
Like for me, when I just heard him say then, like, you know, it's guitars, drums, bass, vocals, right? I've heard some like I get a lot of songs in my email for ads on the station, and I'm not gonna lie, there's some horrible stuff in there, right? And it's because the bands themselves are self-producing for one, and they're trying too hard to be like Falling in Reverse and Spirit Box and stuff like that, and it just sounds like it's recorded in a garage. And it's utter chaos because they're trying to fit too many elements from different genres like the metalcore and stuff like that into it. And it just doesn't work. It's better to be simple.
And also because too many people are trying to shine at the same time.
Right.
That's also the problem. The one thing I think, it reminds me your sound a little bit of Seven Dust. Seven Dust has that really raw grit to their music, which is why I love them so much. You know, when you go and see a Seven Dust show, you are getting exactly what you hear on the radio or on your streaming platform. And I think it's so important because it connects you to the audience more, connects you to that listener, that fan, all the more intimately, because they're not having to hear overproduced tracks. Not saying that's a bad thing. I enjoy it too. But
because
right.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, but you're right.
No.
Like,
that was just my point. It just it reminds me of like those gritty bands like Seven Dust or like even Non-Point, right? Where you get that like real old school vibe from them. It's something familiar and solid that you can really stick your heels into.
And it makes your life easier. When you go and perform live, there's less things to go wrong. Like there's a band I love. I'm not going to say the band, but I went to see them at my local venue. They slayed it anyway, but I found out afterwards that they left their laptop at the last venue. So they had to re-record and retrack everything that was tracked prior before the show within a couple of hours.
Wow.
Like that's carnage, right?
Yeah.
So when you're keeping it to the you know, the raw sound of, you know, the mic drums, and it also reflects on live performance as well because it sounds the same.
There's a band, Doug, going back to what you said about kind of figuring out the hack of I forgot what platform. Did you say it was TikTok or whichever one it was? But the band that I'm thinking of, and unfortunately, because you know I suck, and this is kind of how overconsumption of content is these days. I can't remember the band's name, but because on TikTok I've watched enough of their shit, they keep feeding them to me. And this band, kind of like what you were saying, their whole shtick is it'll be a quick cut of them playing like in a little tiny room, but then it's the caption that's on the video that's written says something about the nostalgia of the early 2000s, and it'll go from them playing to like Tony Hawk Pro Skater to like Bam Margera. I don't know if you've seen this, and if anybody in the chat has seen it, please tell me who the band is. I forget. The song is great. It does sound a lot like Deftones to me, that song, and I'm a huge Deftones fan, so I'm a sucker right out of the gate for that. But when they mixed it with that visual element and kind of owned the fact that their music sounds like something that's older, and when I say Drowning Pool for you guys, I don't think that you sound like older like that as much as this particular band does. I like both, but what I'm saying is like they just embraced it. They made the visuals part of it, and it's fucking working, because I know that it's not showing me that over and over again for no reason, and they have a following too. It's crazy.
So I want to touch on the back of that and ask Doug a question with social media. You said you figured out TikTok and whatnot. How has using social media impacted the band?
I mean, it's the number one reason why we're on this podcast and like getting some streams and a little bit of attention. I mean, you know, it's something where we knew we kind of like don't hate the players, hate the game, or whatever that saying is. We just had to dive into it. So
right,
we found that TikTok was really good at going, you know, from TikTok to Spotify. That bridge was really close. And actually, most younger people are discovering music through TikTok to begin with. So
100%.
So we were thinking, well, we got to get in on this because Instagram wasn't really working. It only recently did it sort of go in like February, right? But so we just, I mean, and this was Alex again, believe it or not, he's the mastermind behind it all. He was just like, screw it, I'm just going to start posting every day, every other day, and just see what works, right? So, you know, then at band practice, we'd spend the 20 minutes at the beginning or the end, take a couple of videos, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything special. And we just started posting, post. But eventually you get one of the videos with the right caption and whatever, you know, and it'll kind of throw it out. So we had a couple TikToks go to like 1 million views, or maybe not that much to begin with, but you know, but going back to that bridge, right? The TikTok to Spotify listener bridge is so strong that if you, once you get those videos in front of people, you just lock in listeners. And most of the time when people like your song on Spotify or on Apple Music, they don't just listen to it and be like, oh, that's cool, and then move on. They'll add it to their playlist. Yeah. So, you know, so when you ask like how instant like social media has changed the game, I mean, it's the whole thing for us. I mean, we're not out making fans playing live or anything, right? It's like literally
the reason why I ask it is because me and Lisa own a social media marketing artist development company, right? And it is social media now is where you start building your fan base. It's as simple as that.
Well, 78,000 people are following Silent Vice.
There you go.
So
where at
TikTok? I just put it in the chat. I just put it in the comments right there, right on TikTok. I just looked them up. 78,000 people. So
it's the new Carrie Kasem. It's the new
Casey Kasem.
I'm sorry, Casey Kasem. Thank you,
yes.
Lisa. I appreciate that. I sound
I'm
like
older
an
than
asshole
you,
here.
so you're welcome.
I know, and I can't believe I flubbed that because I used to listen to him all the time. But
every
like,
weekend.
it's the new. Like I'll jump forward a few decades. It's the new TRL, right? It's the new.
Oh, right.
What I mean, American Bandstand, like what Soul Train, like all those old shows that was the debut of the song was there. Yeah. That's what TikTok is now.
Yeah, it is. I actually had a nice conversation. Pepper Gomez, who owns Wake Up Music Rocks and Wake Up Music, had me speak to her Grammy. She votes for the Grammy Awards, and she has a person she's mentoring, this girl who's in college for the music industry. And so she had me talk to her about social media and its impact on your career. And it's like, literally, here's your song, here's your social media.
Right.
They are equal.
And then
It's
you like
literally the same thing.
to come in. Those are the 3 things that you need now to fucking break in.
Right. And so you guys are doing such a good job of that. That takes so much hard work. You have so much to be proud of. I mean, looking at your stuff, I mean, you got almost 500,000 views on one video alone.
And I think it's just like Doug, like you were saying, because you said like you would do in bands, artists, please pay attention. He said 20 minutes before practice or 20 minutes after, and I think you said a daily post strategy, right? But you also said a video with the particular caption, and that's another thing too. That the writing on overlay of the video is just as important, and you got to be as creative to get that to hit too, right? Like that can do it. But my question to you is, was it that cerebral of a decision? Like you were like, y'all were together, like, we are going to do this and we're going to try to make TikTok work for us. Was it like that?
Yeah. I mean, it was, but it wasn't like we want to be on TikTok. It was like, we want people to hear our music. We want people to
right.
So it's a tool.
Yeah.
Try anything, man. So, we were just trying everything, and it started working, and we were like, well, let's keep going, and it's worked really well. So, but not much. I mean, really, it's just, we have this tiny little studio room. If you go watch our videos, it's in almost every single video. It's like the size of a broom closet, and it's just like the 4 of us in there. It smells terrible. Like it.
But that's so cool though, right? Like, okay, you mentioned Deftones. I guess y'all get that a little bit, and I hear it, but like one of my favorite Deftones videos is Bored, and they're in a tiny ass little house playing. I fucking love that video, right? Like, and if you can just do that on TikTok over and over again, do it.
This is all about growth. Like, just think of the stories that you and the boys will have in years to come when you upgrade the studio. And do you remember when we were in that fucking smelly little broom cupboard?
Yeah.
Well, now we're laughing that we can't ever leave it because it's got the magic, So
that's it. It's got the juju. The juju's in it. Yeah. So I got a couple more questions before we wrap it up. Number one, I can't go this whole interview without asking you about those beautiful ladies hanging on the wall behind you. What do we got going on there, man?
So actually, I wish you could see the other one. See if I turn a little bit. So these are the 2.
Oh wait, hold on. Start over, Doug. We lost your audio somehow. We lost your audio. Is your finger over the?
Maybe. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Okay. So the red and the yellow guitars are the ones I actually play in the band. So they're Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones. They're his signature models from LTD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they're, the 8-string thing. So like, that's why I say we sound like the Deftones, is because that era of the Deftones, like the Diamond Eyes, Koinonia Con, that defined what we wanted to sound like. But then, we have all these influences like Tool. I mean, we all grew up on Tool. And then Keaton, our singer, he's like Linkin Park, Chester Bennington all the way. That's like his guy, right? So, but yeah, so that's what I play. Just I just see, and that's what I was talking about, ripping off the bands. I'm like, well, I like that band. I'm just gonna play his guitar, and it sounds good.
Well, yeah. But do you find that because I saw that you guys put out several singles last year, you haven't put out anything this year. Are you finding as you're building your singles and you're building that catalog that perhaps you're refining and finding your own individual sound as opposed to taking a lot of influence from the bands that you love?
Yeah. It's actually, to be honest, it's kind of all aspects of the band are becoming that. And the most interesting one, I think, is the recording side. We're finding that, like, because we self-produce and mix, not only is our like song writing and that kind of becoming its own lane, but the sound, when you put the record on, you hear it, and it does. I mean, we're not like professional, recording engineers and, mixing engineers. So it's kind of sounds like us. And as far as the songwriting goes, I mean, we always just write what we want to write. Like obviously we want people to like it, but we got to like it first.
Right.
And so, I mean, then again, on the other hand, like we have one. So talking about singles, we have an EP coming out this summer, right?
Oh.
And so we'll have 4 singles and an EP coming out. And the main song that we think is going to be like the best one, we're like, this is the coolest song we've ever written. So we played it live for just to like test it. And nobody even moved. Like, I don't know. Like, it wasn't even, like, didn't even register.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. That's the detriment of working in a vacuum.
Yeah,
maybe,
but hey, but also too, and I don't know who you played it in front of and where that was at, but a new song that people don't know the changes to, there is a little bit of that, and it could also be so good that they were kind of just taking it in, you know. So
yeah,
understand that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I still think it's a good song.
Or it sucks. Hey, or it's terrible. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, it's okay. Like, we know that it's going to be okay. And, you know, some songs do better than others. And, you know, like another example is, you know, we put out this 3-song EP last year called Echo Stasis. And when we put it out, I thought the first and second song, notably the second one, was going to be like the best one. I'm like, this is the coolest song we've ever written. You know, out of the 3, it did miles worse.
Yes.
Like, I listened to it on my way home from work today. I put it on. On my way home from work, I was driving. I wanted to take it in, then I put the album on. You know, taking it all in.
Lisa does her homework, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you understand that. She does her homework.
Yeah.
But no, but dude, you're right. That's how it goes. Like, that's how it goes. You could like, and probably, I don't know, like the band dynamics, but y'all could all pick the song. I can see this happening. We've done it. And it's like, that's the one. We know it. We know that's the one. And it's like, no, that is not the one. Everybody likes this one for some reason. You're like, that one? Really? Why that one? I don't understand it.
Let me just tell you a perfect example of why this doesn't work, right? Any Given Sin, a band I adore. They're local to me. They put out a song a few years ago called Insidious, and they put it out because they wanted to stay relevant. I don't know if Renee's still watching or not. Their tour manager, she's probably going to drive over here.
Renee is watching.
Punching in the throat, but they put it out because they needed to put something out. They didn't actually think it was going to do well. It did amazing.
Yeah.
You never know when you're in that vacuum. You never know what other ears are going to hear and how the fans are going to respond. So when you think it's like the best song ever and the fans are like, oh, okay. But then you have like this song that you're like, oh, let's just put it out there. This will be fine. We don't really care about it. And then the fans go wild. That's when you know maybe it's time to bring in somebody else to listen to our tracks. You know?
That's one downside I would say to self-production, because you, the drummer, vocalist, everyone, they'll get too emotionally attached to the track.
Well, you're definitely right about that. But if there's 4 people in a band or however many people's in the band, there's 4 opinions for sure, right? But you're right. Like picking the one that the fans are going to like, or that you think that the fans are going to like, that's always tricky. But you still do have 4 different, you know, opinions there. So
we have our methods. You know, we put the mix out to like Alex as a mixing group, so they critique his mix, not the song. But also the favorite one worth mentioning is we call it the girlfriend test, or I guess for a few of us, it's the wife test. Because they're just objective listeners, right? And most of the time they're like, nah. And then we're like, oh, okay. But we hit them with that early on in the demo stage. So we never make it all the way down the road. If it's all the way down the road and they hate it, then we're like, whatever, you're wrong. It's great.
You're wrong. You don't know shit about music. You like Taylor Swift. I'm not listening to you.
Exactly. I'm not bagging on Taylor Swift, though.
Now, neither am I. I'm just jealous.
Well, they have a show coming up.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Tell us about the live stuff, right? Because the TikTok thing is working, and now obviously you've made the internet's made your way over here on our side of the world. So
that's right.
What's the touring looking like?
So I mean, we've been playing live forever, right?
Right.
Mostly in San Diego, and I think like years where we played the most shows, it was like 10 or 12 shows. But so it's not like been crazy. So now we're trying to branch out, and we're trying to play San Diego like quarterly. And so we'll be playing up in Orange County coming up here pretty soon. April 26th, we'll be in Orange County, which is like halfway to LA. So we will be there. And then sometime in July, it's not fully locked in yet, we'll be out in Tucson, Arizona. So you know, if anybody has connections on the
Are these headline shows or are support shows? What are they?
Yeah, they're just headline shows. So the one in Orange County, actually, I don't know. We're kind of like co-headlining. I found a band that they were trying to do the same thing in San Diego. Right, we're starting off small. We'll play with anybody at this point. We're just saying, hey, we want to get out there and we want to meet people and play music, and it doesn't matter, right? And every band we play with is good. It's always really fun. So you know, we're just trying to get out there. So those are headline shows, and then it's headline in Tucson. So I don't know. We're just trying to say yes to as many opportunities as we can. Like, all of us have day jobs and lives, and so you know,
so do we.
Yeah.
So do we.
Yeah.
So,
well,
you know, we're just trying to do what we can.
We are a great conversation tonight. Very much fun talking to you. Super huge fan of the music. I'm so glad that the algorithm gods kicked you over here towards us. I don't know how much you know about us, but you know, we have an app. We have the radio station that's inside of the app. Matt is the guy doing that. He's the program director. So please, for the love of God, keep us in the loop on everything that y'all put out. Shoot us an email. We will definitely get it on to the station. We would love to have you back. Anytime you want to premiere anything that you do, the song, the video, we're gluttons for that type of attention. So you're part of the family now. So keep us in the loop. We'll share out your stuff, and we do live shows. Yeah, with the right picture, we promise this time.
I'll send you my email address when we're done.
Yeah, and we do concert promotions over here on our side of the states. I know that's probably, you know, not easy to get over here as far as, you know, the economics behind everything. But if you ever are trying to map out a tour this way, you know, you start getting into the Texas, Louisiana area, give us a shout and see if we can't make something work.
Yeah, definitely. You know, believe it or not, Texas has like 5 times the listenership that San Diego does for us.
It's a big state, dude. Big state.
Well, that's a good point, but like city by city, you know, it's crazy. Like, I know it's just unfortunate we're farther away. I'm like, man, if we lived there, we'd be touring regionally way more, you know, because we have like a majority of our listeners. It seems like they're there, you know.
All the bands that we're digging, the vast majority of them are coming out of Texas. A lot of out of San Antonio.
Also Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, but the Baltimore, Pennsylvania thing has got some stuff going on.
Yes. And I love it. I love it.
Great scenes. Like, I've got you all.
Never mind the UK. That's crazy.
It doesn't matter.
And hey, Matt can start slinging y'all stuff over there. Like, he's juiced in on that scene. So
yeah, we can talk. There's some things I'm doing over here for up and coming bands. I can't say too much, but I'm just about to bring 2 American up and coming bands over in October. So
and he said it, Lisa. There he went, and he said it.
I can't say anything, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
But I'm gonna say it anyway. Well, Doug, look, we got y'all's links in the comments here to the TikTok,
thanks, Ann.
Facebook as well. Everybody listening to this, no matter where you're consuming it at, go check them out. It's so easy to give them a follow, and it's even easier to give them a download or buy some merch. Y'all got merch for sale?
Got merch for sale.
There you go.
Yep.
Every single follow
in the bios, and even if you're on Spotify, it'll pop up. So we're working on new stuff too, new merch.
So when will we get a new release from you?
I think you said summer. Did you say summer for the EP?
Yeah,
summer.
Yeah. We just finished mixing the first single. I don't know if it'll be the first single, but the first song of the 4. So it's done minus a couple vocal things, and we just need to mix it out.
Just so you know, we do video premieres. We do all day premieres on the station. We are a reporting station. So, you know, just keep us in the loop, bro.
Yeah.
Don't worry, dude. He's just got my email. So there you go.
Well, look, hey, thanks for jumping on with us tonight and being patient back there. I know we went a little long, but dude, we love the tunes. Everybody that I'm talking to is digging it. So keep doing what you're doing. And we'll see you in a couple months. Hopefully, drop us some stuff.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys in the loop. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you,
good night, man. Good night.
See ya.